Hey guys, as you can see I had my baby. Here's Camilla. I thought this would be a fun time for you to meet her. She's 5 weeks and 1 day. And I thought it would be fun to just do my makeup and kind of talk about having her and how great she's been. Kind of catch up with everybody. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put on the makeup that I wore for labor. So you guys can kind of see what I did. And I was ridiculous and I really wanted to wear makeup while I was in the hospital. So this is what I did. So I'm just applying my foundation here. This is just my Estee Lauder Double Wear. I really like this foundation for the summer because it's really like heat proof, sweat proof, and so this was a perfect foundation for going into labor. So I was due the 17th, and the week leading up to that my blood pressure kind of crept up, and so I was concerned about preeclampsia. So I went to the emergency room one night and they ended up just sending me home, which I was grateful for. If it wasn't going to be an emergency situation, I didn't want them to induce me right then because I just wanted to have everything ready, and it was kind of, we just decided we needed to go to the hospital. So they sent me home, and then 2 days later I had just my regular weekly appointment, and I really thought that there was a good chance that they were going to induce me that day. So I got a really good night rest, and I got a really good night's rest, and I packed my bags and made sure that the house was ready for us to come home with the baby, and I went to my appointment. Oh, and in the hospital, in the emergency room, the Monday night before, I was having contractions. They hooked me up to the monitor, but I couldn't feel them. They weren't strong enough. They were probably, they would go from every like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and then they'd like stretch out to 7 minutes. And that's kind of how the whole labor was. They never really got very consistent. They would kind of fluctuate. They would like get really close together for a while, and then they would slow down. So anyway, I never really felt my contractions until I was already way in labor. But I went to my appointment, and I was dilated to a 2, so he went ahead and he induced me. So I was admitted in the hospital at like 9:30. My doctor's appointment was at 8:45. I was admitted into the hospital at 9:30, and they started inducing me at 10. So it was really a really fast process. And sure enough, I was having contractions, regular contractions. I couldn't feel them. She's really sleepy. So the way that they induced me, they inserted a Foley catheter into my cervix, and they inflated the balloon 4 times the size that they usually do, and so that manually dilates the cervix. So by the time that it just falls out on its own, you're dilated to a 4. So that's what happened. They got the Foley inserted at 10 o'clock. Hi baby, are you okay? And then by 11 it had just fallen out, and so I went from a 2 to a 4 in like a matter of an hour. We might have to take a nursing break. We'll see how she does. Maybe she's just sleepy. So getting from a 2 to a 4 was really fast. After that, I stopped forever. So after I was dilated to a 4, at 11, they offered to give me my epidural, and I still wasn't feeling my contractions really. I was having them definitely, but they weren't strong at all. So when they offered to give me my epidural, I didn't really think that I needed it, but they were getting ready to go into a case. And so I decided they weren't going to be able to give me my epidural for like 5 hours. So I decided I would go ahead and get it. So I got my epidural, and they broke my water, and then I just stayed put. I didn't progress at all, like basically for 24 hours. That part was awful. Just since they had started my epidural already, I wasn't allowed to get out of bed. I wasn't allowed to move around. I was just stuck. So they let me just kind of try to progress on my own for a few hours. And when I hadn't dilated anymore, they went and they started me on Pitocin. And this baby did not like the Pitocin. As soon as they would try to up the dosage and get the contractions going better so that we could actually progress, her heart rate would freak out. So it was just a long day and a long night of trying to get the Pitocin to a good dosage. We kept having to go up and then go down, and because her heart rate was just not cooperating. So finally, it got kind of scary. They had to put some oxygen on me in the middle of the night. So they finally, just to be sure that they knew exactly what was going on with Camilla, they put an internal monitor on me. And that was like the best thing that could have happened, because the external monitors, they kept like moving around, and so whenever I try to get comfortable in bed, you know, pregnant, I'd move the monitor and they'd have to come and adjust it. Oh, baby. There we go. I'm just gonna go to sleep right here. So once they got that internal monitor hooked up on her, that was like the best thing that could have happened, because I was able to get more comfortable easier, and they knew exactly how she was responding to the Pitocin. So it was just a long day, a long night of trying to get dilated. I think like at 3 in the morning, I was only dilated to like a 5. So I went from a 2 to a 4 in a matter of an hour, and then I just didn't do anything after that. So and people were really concerned about my epidural when they found out how long my labor was. The medicine, I did run out, but the CRNA, he just came back and he refilled it for me. So I never was in pain or anything. So the next day, it was just the same thing. She doesn't like me talking while she's trying to sleep. It's okay, baby. So the next day, it was just the same thing, trying to get dilated. Finally, at like, probably 11 in the afternoon, I was dilated to a 7. And so that was really exciting. And by then, my contractions, I could definitely feel them. My epidural was really good. I still felt everything. I was not numb at all. I didn't feel my contractions that much, but I definitely had feeling in my legs and my bum and my everywhere. Like I felt every time that they touched me. So when it came time to actually deliver, that was really nice, because I knew what was going on with my body. I could feel the contractions, they just weren't very painful. Hey. So let's see, I think at 2 o'clock I was like, I have to, it's time. I needed to push. I was ready to go. That was a very uncomfortable feeling. I really hated that part. Did not like feeling like I had to push a baby out. But they went ahead and checked me, and I was 100% effaced, dilated to a 10. And so my doctor told me to go ahead and just labor down for a little bit. So I hung out for not long at all, probably 20-30 minutes. And I was like, yeah, it's time to have this baby. So it was really nice because my aunt, she was my nurse in the hospital. So I had my aunt there, I had my mom there. My dad was in the hospital with me, but when it was actually time for delivery, he stepped outside the room. So I had my aunt, who's my nurse, my mom, who's a nurse, my other aunt who's in town, she was visiting, she's a nurse, she was in there with me. And then I had my husband. So I had a ton of moral support. So when it came time for pushing, it went really well. It was horrible, it hurt, but they coached me really well, and they gave me lots of encouragement. Everybody got so excited, they all started yelling, and I thought that they were mad at me because I wasn't doing a good job. But they were just really excited because the baby was coming out. So I started pushing probably around like 2:20, and I only pushed through 5 contractions. I did 3 or 4, kind of depended on each. I pushed 3 or 4 times through each contraction, and by the 5th contraction she was out. So that was really awesome. It was kind of scary though. Her umbilical cord is like a mile long. It was wrapped around her neck 4 times, and then it was wrapped once around her body. You okay? That was not fun to relive it, huh? So when she was delivered, she wasn't doing very good. Baby. I was afraid that they were going to have to ship her. They got her under the oxygen hood, and she was getting breaths. She was getting, yeah, breaths. And she was able to perk up finally. So that was a major blessing. And I'm really glad that I didn't realize how serious it was until after talking to everybody else, because I was just so out of it. I felt so sick. So I was glad that I didn't really know what was going on. The whole time during labor, I was really happy. It was never like bad. It was just not fun sitting around waiting for my cervix to dilate, but it definitely wasn't a painful experience until the actual delivery. It was mostly just like a party in my room with all my family. So she perked up really well. She was only under the hood for about an hour, and then everything was good. The doctors kept coming in to check on her because they were so worried and concerned, but they kept saying, I can't believe that this is the same baby. Like, she was just doing so much better than she was an hour ago. So my hospital experience was really great. I loved my nurse. So it was really fun because when I was induced, it was my aunt who was my nurse. You just look so irritated at me that I keep talking, huh? So it was my aunt that induced me Wednesday morning. And then she was also able to deliver my baby the next day. I loved the staff. The nurses were all great, obviously. The night nurses were really good too. Very competent, very good. I felt very well taken care of and safe, especially when she was in a bit of distress. I felt like they were very good. The CNAs were great. It's really funny because the hospital that I went to, there's a lot of Native Americans that give birth there. And so everybody was just dying over this baby's hair because she's got that pretty fluffy red hair. There was a lot of excitement over this baby's hair. Everybody kept saying, "We'd never get red hair babies. Everybody's always dark." So that was really fun it's just nice, you know, when people just adore your baby. Because you, of course, adore them, but it's really fun when other people really like your baby also. So she looks exactly like my husband. She looks nothing like me. She's a little pretty baby version of him. She was a lot smaller than he was, so I was very grateful for that. I'm just gonna go ahead and peel off the glue from my lashes. So this is the makeup that it's the same thing that I did for labor. It lasted really, really well. Even my eyelashes didn't move at all. The only thing, the next, like that morning, the Thursday morning when I actually had her, I just kind of touched up a little bit. I just kind of cleaned up my contour and like, I put a little bit more highlight in my inner corner of my eye, but that was it. I'm telling you guys, labor was really long, but I don't know, it was pretty easy. I've seen like pictures of women like all sweaty, and I did get sweaty pushing. It was really cute. Everybody kept like trying to fan me, and somebody was like, "Oh, she needs," because I was sweating. Somebody was saying that I needed a wet towel on my face, and then I heard somebody like pipe in, "Don't get it wet, it'll ruin her makeup." So they were just really cute. But yeah, my makeup lasted the entire time. So that was really nice. Because when you're strapped on a hospital bed and you can't move and you've got a Foley catheter pouring urine out of you and you're like this for 29 hours, it's just not fun. So it was really nice to like at least feel like I didn't look like a complete creep. So anyway, back to, yeah, I loved my hospital. It was a really, really great experience. And that was so fun that night because, so my epidural, they turned it off like 30 minutes before I started pushing. They turned off my epidural so I could feel my contractions really good. So I was able to get out of bed like an hour after she was born, and that was so nice. I was able to go sit with her when she was on her oxygen and just meet my baby. That was so fun. Oh, and she was the cutest baby in the world. I just loved her immediately. I didn't know how I was going to feel, but I didn't think I was going to feel that much love for this baby. Man, she was so perfect. It was really fun that she looked exactly like Stratton, but I kind of felt bad because, you know, I was the one that carried her forever. I hated being pregnant. The labor definitely wasn't fun, but I don't know. I hated being pregnant. I hated every moment of it. Oh yeah, that was the other thing, is that after I delivered, and it took him, he like stitched me up, and it took a while for me to get the placenta out. I thought that I was gonna have to push it out. But the doctor, he was just like talking to, he had a student in the room, he was like taking a teaching moment, and I just wanted him to deliver that placenta. And sure enough, as soon as he yanked that placenta out of me, like I felt 100% better. Like, yeah, I'm not pregnant anymore. I feel so much better. I'm gonna put her down while I apply my lashes. Okay, I just got one eyelash done, and so I'm just gonna do the other one on camera. I thought I should mention, so I used my Estee Lauder Double Wear foundation, and then for my bronzer I used, what is that? The Too Faced Chocolate Soleil, the medium shade. And then for my contour, I of course used my Kat Von D Shades and Light. That's all I ever use. Every once in a while I pull out my Makeup Forever, but I just really like the Kat Von D a lot. And then for my eyes, I use the Too Faced Semi-Sweet Chocolate Bar. And then also for my inner corner highlight, I use this NYX Jumbo Pencil. And my eyelashes are Ardell Wispies, not Demi Wispies. I just like the Wispies now. Even though they're longer all the way through, I think that they look more natural, because the Demi Wispies, they're really short on the, like in the inside, and then they get really long, so it's more of like a cat eye. So I actually, these are longer, but I think that they're more natural. What's wrong? That didn't last long. She does not like to be put down, so I don't mind holding her all the time now. I've got nothing better to do but hold an adorable sweet baby. I'm a little worried about my next baby, you know, years down the road, because then I'll have a little one, and I don't think I'll be able to just hold her like I do now. Oh yeah, and the reason that, sorry, I'm at my kitchen table, because I wanted to film with Camilla, but I needed better lighting, and so I don't want to set up my lights because it would be too bright for her, so I'm in front of a window now. And then that was just my Smashbox Halo Longwear Blush in Warm Glow. So this is my makeup, and I didn't wear lipstick or anything, I just wore chapstick. So yeah, this is what I looked like. It definitely wore off. It wasn't this perfect, but by the time that I had her, it's pretty close. Oh, and so after having her, that was just like the best thing in the world, to have my baby and try to figure out how to nurse her. And Stratton is the best dad. We just loved being in the hospital as a family. That was so fun. It was so nice. It wasn't until we got home that things got hard. She decided she didn't want to nurse again. She was latching fine, she was eating fine in the hospital, and then when we got home, she decided she'd had enough. Oh. So getting her started back on nursing was really hard. I actually quit for 2 weeks, and I pumped breast milk in a bottle. But then I really felt strongly that I needed to nurse her. So I started just trying to offer it to her every time I fed her, and she was like, no, I'm not gonna do it. Finally, I was praying and fasting because I felt really strongly that I needed to be nursing my baby, and so that was Sunday that I was praying and fasting. And then after church, probably around 4, she finally latched on and we were able to nurse, and we've been nursing ever since. So She's been nursing for about 2 weeks now, even though she's 5 weeks old. And we're just getting better and better at it. So I'm so grateful. Anyway, I love being a mom. It's the best thing. Oh, I don't want to cry. It's definitely the best thing that I've ever done, and I didn't know it was going to be this good. Having a daughter with my husband has just been the greatest thing in the world. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed her little birth story. Let's see if I can. She's so sleepy now. I should have done this when she was more awake. Thank you guys for watching this, and I hope you enjoyed our story, and I will talk to you guys later.